Robert Bourla from Pfizer announced the first of the 17 MFN deals, together with our colleagues from the Department of Commerce under Secretary Lutnick's leadership and from the U.S. Trade Representative's office under the leadership of Ambassador Greer. We negotiated a landmark agreement with the government of the United States.
Remember the amount of times Trump called Biden Sleepy Joe? Well, I don't remember the former president hitting almost a full REM cycle during a live TV interview.
He has one ability I don't have.
Yeah.
He sleeps. He has an ability to fall asleep while on camera. He can lie down on one of those things, and in minutes, he's stone cold out.
How does he do
and he's
it?
got cameras
How
on
does
because
he
he's the
do it?
president, so they have cameras on him.
Yeah.
And then they show him sleeping on the beach.
Yeah.
You'll never see me sleeping in front of camera.
Trump is so old and seems to be in such bad health that he falls asleep repeatedly while he's literally in his Oval Office doing his job. I mean, can you imagine a typical person doing their job and falling asleep that often? But lately, it's not even just falling asleep. He's gone almost into a full REM cycle during the interview. Do you know how difficult it is as a parent to go through a full REM cycle? He doesn't seem to be bothered one bit. The people behind him are trying to tell the American people what a good job Trump and his cohorts are doing. That despite the evidence in front of us, the disastrous Iranian war, how much we are spending, the $500 million we've had to give or planning on giving Spirit in order to bail them out because of the rising oil prices. Communism that they say is Mamdani, instead government giving a $500 million bailout to an airline, which may be necessary as a result of the rising oil prices, but the hypocrisy involved. Well, the people behind him, standing behind him in that Oval Office, was trying to give us confidence. In fact, they say that the American savings and taxpayers are going to be improving for decades to come. The American savings will see improvement in decades to come. The man in charge of all of it can't even stay awake during this false sense of confidence that they've had to peddle because of the many mistakes Trump has made.
When your ankles swell up 3 times the size they were before, that means heart failure. And he does look sick. And he does babble and, sound like the brain's not doing too hot. And so we just cut bait on Trump and we just mobilize against the Democrats. And we mobilize against neocons, we primary them, and we just fight even harder because look at how we've turned the tide. Look at all the good we've done. There's a fourth turning. Populists, nationalists, conservatives are winning everywhere. There's a Christian reawakening. And Trump is just a minor figure in all of that now. And we have to be appreciative of the old Trump that went through so much and got so much done. And that's the Trump we remember. And we're just sad because that happens. We need to be sad about Trump. This is not funny. This is not good. But he's gone. And that's it. And all the people rallied around him, you can see Hegseth's freaked out. You can see the press secretary's freaked out. They're being loyal. They think it's the lesser of two evils. And okay, but I just, Trump needs intervention. He needs to take some time off. We need to pray for Trump, that the Holy Spirit touch his heart and loose him from whatever evil control he's under. I'm serious. And I think that's the answer. We need to pray for President Trump. We need to pray for other people to be awakened. We need to pray for justice and peace.
He does not care. He and his sons are making billions, profiting off of the American taxpayer. Trump himself is literally suing the American taxpayer, trying to get $10 billion from the IRS, $10 billion from you. American taxpayers trying to pay that. And he, of course, then can't stay awake, trying to talk about the manipulation of this interview, that somehow we're doing better. He does not care. He is doing better. So disturbing. The man with a nuclear code sending us off to war, creating an economy that, according to Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, is creating 0 jobs in the private sector. 0. Really scary stuff for an economy. At the same time, creating these rising oil prices. And he cannot even barely stay awake during that interview. Staff going into a peaceful, deep sleep while the rest of us stay up at night, horrified about what is to come.
A report I wish covered the oranges, how it started. In the failing New York Times by an anonymous, gutless coward. They sacrifice every day for the furniture and future of their children.
Jim Apple.
Mike Pounds.
I know words. I have the best words.
Yosemites, Nambia.
Thailand.
You have voter ID to buy a loaf of bread. The Democrats, ooh, there was a mosquito. I don't want mosquitoes around me. I'm a very stable genius. The disinfectant, where it knocks it out in 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection? I tested positively toward negative, right? People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once. Sinks, right? Showers. And what goes with a sink and a shower? 10 times, right? 10 times. Wow, but not me, of course, not me. You want to wash your hands, you turn on the sink, the water comes up.
No, get those lights off. Off.
You have a shower. It's no good for me. Remember the dishwasher, you'd press it, boom, there'd be like an explosion. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. And the worst president in the history of our country.
And it's not just that he's always sleeping. When he's awake, he still is incoherent, either incoherent on his Truth Social post. When you look at how he made statements during his first term to his second term, they make a lot less sense and they're a lot more dangerous and a lot more scary. And then the bruising on the hands. This is an older man in this Oval Office who cannot even stay awake, who seems to have some very serious health problems, who cannot keep names, states straight, countries straight, sending us off to war, making bad policy decisions, and it is all coming back to haunt him.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.